Golf Ireland has unveiled a major boost for the women's amateur game with the launch of a new national championship circuit for 2026, and it's a development that couldn't come at a better time. Joining us now is the Ennis native and Lahinch member Aideen Walsh, last year's Bridgestone Women's Order of Merit winner, to get a reaction to the new North, South, East and West of Ireland Women's Championships and what it means for the future of the game. Welcome to studio, Aideen.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
So how significant is this announcement for the women's amateur game in Ireland right now?
Yeah, I think it's huge. It's probably important to say we did have something similar in the past. So before 2022 we had 4 provincial championships, but they weren't called the South, North, East and West. They were just called Munster, Leinster, Ulster and Connacht. And then Golf Ireland decided to change them to 18 hole, and that it didn't work. So then Golf Ireland were like, it's not working. So then they asked me to be involved in like a committee to see could we change it and bring it about, and what we came up with was the South, North, East and West. And I think it's so important. I think women's golf is in a really strong position right now on the professional tours, and I think it's really important for the younger girls coming up, like let's say the 15, 16, 17 year olds, if they want to go to the States and they want to pursue professional golf, they should be competing at these tournaments. You know, they should be winning them. You know, if you look back at like Sarah Byrne, Alan Morrissey, they would have won all these tournaments when they were younger, and they're on the professional tours now. So yeah, I think it's really important for the younger girls especially, but obviously it's really exciting even for someone like me. Obviously the South is on Lahinch, so sure, look, I'm smiling and I'm just can't wait, you know.
Yeah, having the South of Ireland Women's Championship launching there would be nice. Yeah,
so we always had the Vaughan Trophy, and basically the South is going to replace the Vaughan Trophy, which is our scratch cup. I had an idea that they were going to approach Lahinch to host it. I wasn't sure whether we would have it because we have the Walker Cup later in the year, but yeah. I was delighted to see the news. It was only announced during the week about Lahinch, so yeah, it's very exciting.
All 4 events are going to count for World Amateur Golf ranking points. How important is that for players looking to progress in the game?
Yeah, it's really important, and in Ireland we have had a problem with girls getting on the world ranking system. It's quite hard to get on in Ireland. You kind of have to win a tournament, but this should give them an opportunity. Like, hopefully if you win it or come second, you'll be able to get on it, and then once you're in it you get into the bigger tournaments abroad. Like, you have to have world rankings to get into the tournaments internationally, and that's just natural progression for people. Is when you do well in Ireland you move abroad then, and yeah, I think it's really important.
The 54-hole stroke play format with a cut, it mirrors elite amateur events, which I guess can only raise the competitive standard. And do you think that format will better prepare players from here for international championships because it's a mirror of what they can expect if they get beyond here? Yeah,
because the last few years we've played a few 36 holes, but let's say Leinster Championships, which will now be the East of Ireland, I actually won that in 2022, and the format was top 32 match play, or top 32 from the stroke play, and then it went to match play. It's just different, 36 holes in one day. There's no sleeping on the lead. Your mind isn't, you can rest in the evenings, whereas you're going to play 36 holes at the South, and then you could be leading by a couple of shots and you have to sleep on that and then go and play well the next day. So that's the way golf is, that's just competitive golf. You have to get used to the pressure, I suppose.
Yeah, the mental drain of 36 holes, keeping the focus for, you're talking about what, an average 3-4 hours for a round of golf, so you'd double that. Your mind has to be pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely. You're talking about 10 hours nearly, because you have a break in between, you're warming up. It's 10-11 hour days when you're playing 36 holes, but we do get used to it. We have a lot of practice of that, so that's obviously a positive in Ireland. We play a lot of 36 holes.
Do you think these championships, Aideen, are going to become the cornerstones of the Bridgestone Women's Order of Merit, and how big a step would that be for creating a clear pathway for players?
Yeah, I think it's very important. They will be. They actually haven't published they always have to publish the criteria for the Bridgestone Women's Order of Merit. So last year I won it, and there was no provincial championships in it. It was just their close and stroke play and then some scratch cups. But they have to be important, and also the way they've put them in May. They put all the new 4 events in April, May and June, and then our main Irish teams are selected at the end of June. So they did that on purpose. They want them to have value. They want players to play in them, and they want them to apply for selection. So European Team Championships is on in Slieve Russell in Cavan in July, And their idea is that these 4 championships will be important for selection.
From your own experience, I mean, how valuable is it to have a structured ranking system in order to measure progress and consistency?
Yeah, it's important. And especially for players based at home. We have a lot of players based in the USA. So it's kind of hard to compare the standard here and in the USA. But even the Order of Merit, if you top the Order of Merit, you're an automatic selection on home international. So that's always motivation for people. You know, you have a goal at the end of it. If you play well and you accumulate these points, you can get an Irish cap. Just to even have a little bit of structure to the season as well. You know exactly what you're doing and maybe you can set goals around it.
We've mentioned a couple of different courses so far in our chat. You know, Lahinch, you mentioned Slieve Russell there, and I guess with venues like Castledargan, Woodbrook and Lough Erne on the schedule, must be pretty exciting to see kind of variety in courses, different challenges depending on what course you're playing.
Yeah, exactly. I've played Castledargan, Woodbrook, obviously Lahinch. I've never played Lough Erne, but I heard it's nice. Woodbrook are hosting home internationals in August, so that's like Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales. We all play against each other. So obviously that would be huge for selection, and it's great for players that we can go and play. I'm very familiar with Woodbrook, it's lovely. And Castledargan, I played in Interpros there, so it's quite nice as well. I think it was designed by Darren Clark.
You said you hadn't played Lough Erne yet. You'll be expecting a lot of water. It's water in play on 11 holes, as described as a real test, which I guess challenges like that push players to the next level. Yeah,
exactly, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to... Like, it is hard enough to get courses from Golf Ireland's point of view. It can be hard to get courses. You know, you're giving up your course, members have to give up time. So we are very lucky to have very good venues and have different challenges at each of the championships. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Lahinch the most.
But that is understandable. But like, how important do you feel the visibility and prestige is when it comes to encouraging more young girls to take up golf?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And now I do think that golf has really, you know, the last few years, the juniors, and I grew up playing junior golf in Woodstock, and you go up, I was the only girl when I grew up, and there's loads of girls. I don't know what the numbers are now, but I think the Irish Open in Dromoland, the girls doing so well, Lauren and Leona in the States, and then we've a good few girls on the LET, Anya obviously on the LET. I think that's important, but even having opportunities for them to play is important as well. But I think golf has come a long way, and hopefully it can go even further. But we have a lot of young girls in the game, and there's a few young girls that are showing a good bit of promise as well. So the future is bright, I think. You
mentioned there, Aideen, you know, that when you were playing coming up, you were the only one there at Woodstock, the only female. What was that like? Did that make you more determined to make your way in the game? Was it almost like a challenge, or was it a bit dispiriting to see the lack of female participation in the game?
I didn't even take any notice of
it. I suppose you have to have the blinkers on to really, progress in your own game.
Yeah. Now I would have played soccer when I was younger with Ennis Town with all the boys. We played with Boreen when I was younger, all the boys. So I'd say I didn't take any notice. And I'd go up with my brother Cormac, so I was there playing golf and I was happy doing that.
That's fair enough. I suppose just to finish then, how excited are you to see where women's amateur golf in Ireland will go over the next few years? This is, on paper, this looks very exciting, but I guess the proof in the pudding will be in the eating.
Yeah. Even being involved with the meetings, it is exciting and you have to be excited about it, but we need to have people playing in it. We need to have the top players playing in it to get like the best ranking points. So the world ranking system is based on the quality of the field. So if we don't have our top players playing, then it won't be worth a lot of points.
A diluted field means less points.
Yeah, exactly. So we do need the support. So I hope it works, and I hope that it's a long-term thing. And obviously you have to be very optimistic about these things. But Golf Ireland are very proactive. If something isn't working, it'll change. Kind of like what's been happening the last few years. They admitted they did wrong, and then we changed it. So once we get everyone playing, hopefully it'll be for a long term, and hopefully it'll go well, do you know?
Well, look, exciting times ahead, that is for sure, and we appreciate you coming in to give us your perspective on it. Aideen Walsh, thank you for joining me on Morning Focus.
Thanks for having me.